On today's show, we welcome on a special guest. He is Christian Claytor. He's a sophomore running back, an outside linebacker, and kick returner. And he also does track and field and lacrosse for Bishop Hendricken. Wow, that's a mouthful. And lacrosse, and he plays lacrosse for the Cannons. Christian, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you holding up during these COVID times?
Sorry.
How are you holding up during these COVID times?
I'm holding up pretty well. The mask gets annoying sometimes because a little bit of asthma, but
Oh, jeez.
I get through it.
Oh, that's good. I know. Are you wearing masks for football while you play football too?
Yes. We
Yeah.
have to put it over our mouth guards, which is like, kind of a lot.
Yeah, because then you have the mouth guard, you have to wear masks, and you have a helmet on top of it. Do you have a visor too?
Yeah.
So you got it all. You got all four things going for you.
I have the anti-fog thing on it, luckily this year, so
Oh, that's good.
they're really bad.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's yeah. I was gonna say that's thankfully you have that. I want to start off, Christian. Just I don't know how'd you get into all three of those sports?
Well, football I got into because of lacrosse.
Mm.
Um, So lacrosse, I started playing that in 6th grade for my school team. 7th grade, I played town and school team, and then by 8th grade, I was playing for the Bulldogs, Rhode Island Bulldogs. You know what they are. I During the winter before that, I played on a national team and like a feeder team for the New England Black Wolves. That had to do something with 3D lacrosse, but I'm not really sure how the companies were linked, but some advertisement. Um, and then in 8th grade, after school, I would have 7 to 8 hours of lacrosse every night. Because I would have school team or game practice, and then town team or game, and then Bulldogs practice, and then tournaments on the weekend. But I started football in 8th grade because I had a lacrosse coach. If you know the Hurd family from Portsmouth.
Yes, I do.
So Mr. Coach Hurd, he like harassed my mom about letting me play football, because she didn't want me to because of concussions and all that.
Mhm.
And my first year, I didn't do that great. Like I was okay. I did get a concussion, so I didn't like play for like half the season, but um, that was Pop Warner. And then freshman year, when I got to Hendricken, um, in the beginning I was on the bench. Once I got more, reps and stuff in practice, and other people made mistakes, and I got like more playing time. By the second game, I was like the starting running back, and then after that game, once I scored, I would go for 1 or 2 touchdowns a game. And I usually had at least above like 100 yards or so.
Wow.
But that's just on the freshman level.
That's all right.
And eventually I got moved to JV, where last year when I was on JV, I played a little bit because like they were older and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
but that wasn't too hard. I didn't go negative or anything. I would get like more like 10-yard runs when I got in at a time. So still productive. And then on varsity last year, um, I kind of just stood around most of the time, but it was good during practice. During practice, it was really good. Like learning from the older kids. However, the defensive parts weren't that great because I didn't have a defensive position yet. So I do up downs instead because I would be wasting time.
Yeah.
But now I'm playing outside linebacker. With track and field, um, before I came to Hendricken, I did cross country in middle school, and I was really good at that. Um, and so I remember when I ran against the Hendricken cross country team in 8th grade, um, because I used to get like heat stroke because I would sprint the whole thing and then pass out.
Jeez.
But one of the Hendricken coaches, I think he's at LaSalle now, went and talked to me because my twin brother, he already went to Hendricken for their honors program. And at the time I was planning on going to either PHS or Rogers. Because I'm an honor roll student, but I didn't make their honors program in 8th grade. So he talked to me about coming, and then my mom already liked the school because my twin was there, so that was kind of it. And then so I already knew I was going to be doing track because a lot of my friends from who I knew through my brother were going to be doing it, and a lot of the coaches already knew I was pretty fast, so just kind of got into it.
That's
I
awesome.
did get on varsity last year, but only for long jumping, because my first try long jumping, I jumped a 19.1, I believe.
Wow.
Chart's been up and down since then, but I assume once I apply better form, it won't be like maybe I'll get 19 or 20 this time, possibly, and then maybe I'll get 17. Just need to get more consistent with it.
Yeah, definitely. That's understandable. What's it like having a twin brother? Is your brother also into sports as well too? Are you guys competitive with each other?
My brother is actually more into he's a long distance runner. He didn't run this year. But my brother, he's not too much into sports. I'm about 5'10" and I'm like 170. My brother is 6'1" and he's about 120. He's really, really skinny.
Wow.
So, he's not really playing like lacrosse or football or contact sports like that.
Yeah.
But he does do cross country and esports.
Nice.
He does. He was, I believe, like a year ago, he was top ranked in the world for win rate on Rainbow Six Siege. So
wow, that's awesome.
Used to that, I guess.
That's really cool. That's great. So it seems like athleticism and either way runs into your family, runs with your family. So that's pretty cool. Your brother does esports. Does they have that at school, or is it just your brother? Does
Yeah, Hendricken wins it every year.
Do they really?
They have
what's it like, right now having football practice in like February and March during these like colder times and having snow and everything on the ground?
Well, it's not as like fun in the beginning when it's like that, but I mean, at the same time, at least it's not like hot with like, because we're kind of rushing this year. It's not like how how summer practices go on for like at least a few weeks usually, and then like you get your pads and stuff, and then it's still pretty hot wearing all your pads and all that. This year, at least, there's not that where it's like in the beginning it feels like heavy pads, and then it's like warm, and so it's not so bad, and it's not as cold as when I was doing varsity last year. But maybe that's because I'm not standing around as much.
Yeah.
But that was freezing. Like I'd have 2 hoodies on under my pads, and then like
oh my God.
pajama pants.
That's crazy. That's got to be really cold. Who's your first game of the season?
I'm not sure. I believe somebody from Portsmouth told me that we were their first game, so I assume Portsmouth. But our coaches haven't told us yet, so I'm not really sure. I'm sure I could find it online though, on like a schedule somewhere.
Yeah, I think the schedule's up somewhere. But what are you looking forward to the most, just to being back out there and getting playing again?
I'm looking to develop myself on defense a lot more, just because on offense I am already fast. Um, I'm pretty good at footwork and all that. I've developed a lot since last season, and last season, like I relied a lot on my speed. I've developed a lot more like coordination and things like that as far as my feet and like moving and hitting.
Nice.
Um, as far as that for offense. Um, I've been developing my hands a little bit more because I have to like play like I have to run some routes out of running back. I can't just like block or take the ball every time because you know you have to keep them
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, mostly development on defense. That's what I'm excited about.
That's awesome.
Not even if I'm like even if I'm not mainly doing that, I just want to be able to like prove to myself that I can actually like play defense and not just be like the kid that only plays offense. And
Yeah, understandable. You want to be able to show, like, prove to your teammates and yourself that you can play both sides of the ball.
yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And what's it like being a kick returner? Like, how do you make those decisions of when to call a fair catch or when to go?
I've actually never called a fair catch. I've
Really?
always gone. Um, and every time I've every time the ball has hit the ground before I've got it in my hands, I've scored.
Wow.
Every time I've caught the ball, I've just gained yards, but I've never scored off a kick return where I've caught the ball. And I don't know why that is, but
That's interesting. Maybe, I don't know, maybe people are expecting you to actually take a kneel or something like that. I don't know what it is. It's interesting.
I had one last year against North Kingstown where the ball like went way behind me and it like was at the 1 yard line and I got it and then I ran down for a touchdown.
That's crazy.
But I only had to do like one move because I don't know, like it just kind of turned into like a straight run like leg race and that was not too hard.
Yeah. That's great. You must have some great blockers, and plus you run track and field, so I'm pretty sure you're probably fast too at the same time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty fast. I'm not the fastest kid in the school, but I hope to be soon. Although Kopech, Jake Kopech, if you know who he is, he's a bit faster than me. He's in my grade, so second place is good. You know.
Yeah.
Also, I do more things than like sprinting. I do jumping and stuff. So
Yeah, you do the long jump, and do you do like the pole vault as well too?
yes. So pole vaulting. I haven't been able to do that because they don't do that inside. And unfortunately, like last year there was no spring season and I didn't do track before, but I've been like working on pole vault during some practices. Um, and yeah, just developing that for the spring because I plan on doing that in the spring.
Nice. And now let's jump into lacrosse. What position did you play in lacrosse, and like how did it really become? Do you think like lacrosse is your sport, or do you just think all three are? Like, what is it?
Um, I think that for the most part, lacrosse has been my sport, mainly, but um, I'm not sure which I would like to try to pursue the most now. Um, but lacrosse, I started off playing midfield, and then uh, as I was a little bit bigger than people in middle school, which unfortunately people also grew now, so I'm not huge and fast anymore. I'm just like regular and fast.
Yeah.
Um, so in middle school though, I started playing like LSM a little bit, and that's what I did when I was getting on like onto Bulldogs and like the national teams, all that. And then within those teams though, then they switched me back to MIDI within both of those teams to regular. So um so that's what I've continued to do. I can take face-offs, but I'm more of a wing player um, because I would rather stay on the field and like play more than just face off and like go off the field.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that. So yeah, as of now, MIDI, usually on the left side.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'm lefty in lacrosse.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. How did you like? So, what are you, a righty regularly, but you became a lefty in lacrosse?
So if I was, it's weird. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm left eye dominant. Um, but I think it's because when I was younger, I let like my parents probably assumed I think that I was right-handed.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I played hockey for a year, and I also played baseball for a year. But I mean, those weren't really my sports. Hockey, I was pretty good at. Baseball, not so much. Um, and in both of those, I would use like on my stick, I'd use it lefty. On my bat, I'd use it lefty. But when I was throwing, I'd throw with my right hand. So like it was kind of odd. But now when I can write with both hands equally. I mean, both is pretty bad handwriting, but like it's equal. Um, but yeah, and lacrosse, I'm left-handed. I don't know why, but if I was gonna throw football, I couldn't do it left-handed. I'd do it right-handed. Well, I could do it left-handed, but like not nearly as good as the right hand.
That's
I'm not
interesting.
sure.
That's cool. I mean, that's crazy that you can do like you can't throw a lefty, but like like right, you can right lefty and righty, and you can do things lefty and right. Other things like hold a stick lefty and righty. That's crazy. That's very interesting how that works out like that.
Yeah, well, lacrosse I can mostly go both ways. Because that's part of the like sport is they want you to be able to go both ways. Um, just need to work on like passing a little bit more with my right hand, but catching, throwing with my left and catching with my right is perfect. It's just I need to work a little bit more on throwing with my right.
Nice, nice. And then is there what was it like playing for like on the national level with like those lacrosse teams?
Um, that was pretty hard in a way because it was luckily that most of that was in Hartford, Connecticut.
Mhm.
I believe that's like a pretty central place for lacrosse as a whole. Um, and it would be 3 hours to practice at least, 3 hours back. So luckily that was done before like all the other lacrosse seasons in the spring. But yeah, that would be stressful to get there sometimes. But I do things like I'd make time for things like I do homework on the way, because I can't skip that. But yeah, they're very cutthroat. If you like show up late or you don't show up, they'll get rid of you pretty quickly on those programs. So that was kind of like hard because technically then I had to be like an hour early for the 3 hour ride because just in case there's traffic or something somewhere
Yeah.
like your school will understand if you miss practice because of that. A national team or like feeder team for a professional team, they won't. They do not care. So you have to have a little bit more like preparedness and maturity as
Yeah.
an eighth grader, kind of.
Yeah, kind of prepares you for like the real world almost in some sense of the way. Some stuff's a little like some companies are a little more like that. And it sounds like, like you said, it sounds like more of the national and professional team feeder teams are a little more
Yeah,
cutthroat than your high school team is a little more understanding, which is that sounds like they treat it more like a business than than they do with the high school stuff.
yeah. High school, they're more worried about like your performance because they're not just gonna cut you if you don't show once.
Yeah.
I did work before at Walmart, and I've also worked at Ace Hardware, but Walmart was like very relaxing as far as stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, well, I mean, you're playing on a different, like, Walmart and, playing on a feeder team's a little bit, a little different. I think
Different.
they're trying to prepare you a little bit differently to get ready if you were ever to go to the next level and stuff like that. I don't know what a professional team's like. I never played on a professional team, but I know college is the same way. It's like they kind of question why you're late. And if you don't have like, a good excuse, it's a big, big difference from high school. So, but do you have a favorite game that from football from last season that you really enjoyed the most?
Um, Probably when I played against NK, because for freshmen, as far as that was the last freshman game that I played. Um, and that was like there was a lot of people there for a freshman game. So like I thought that was like the biggest thing or whatever, but I was kind of like that didn't seem as much once got moved up. But um It's because I scored 2 like really long touchdowns. I believe, well, one was from the 1 yard line, and then
Yeah.
the other one was from I believe around the 30 to the end zone. So the 30 like on the others. How do I explain it? Yeah,
Yeah.
like the opposite 30.
Yeah.
Um,
I know what you're saying.
and other than that, I had a lot of yards that game. Other than those as well. Um, One of those did get called back for someone blocking the back, but I mean,
It is what it is.
yeah,
Yeah, you
can't
can't
really do
control
anything
that.
about that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. And what about anything from lacrosse or track and field that you remember the most that were your favorites?
Um, Lacrosse, um, it was probably this year practicing with the Cannons because the Brown, like the college, they had some incoming freshmen, I believe, that weren't allowed to practice or something with Brown yet because of COVID, or I'm not really sure. But so what they ended up doing is they ended up like practicing like at the same field as us. So they ended up playing us one time. And that was really fun because they played us in box lacrosse, which is a little bit like less rules as far as that. So I mean, some kids were getting lit up on our team, but I mean, it was pretty fun.
How
Um,
how was it playing against like the college level?
I believe I had 2 goals, but at the same time, like um I don't know how serious they were taking it because you never know. Because they were playing against like freshmen and sophomores in high school, so I'm sure they weren't like playing like it was their last game at us, but like um
Where I'm like completely lighting you guys up, right?
they weren't just letting us by. I
Yeah.
mean, because a lot of them they had their girlfriends there watching, so I'm sure that they weren't just gonna like let some 2023s, 2022s destroy them. But um, like that was pretty fun. And then overall with Cannons, I developed a lot more this year because before I relied a lot on my physical like advantages with being fast, and in lacrosse a lot of kids aren't like as built as far as other middies. Now in the high school level, defenders like went from being like my size to being like 6'5", and like I have to be a little bit more careful with throwing my body around. But um uh this year I developed a lot more than just athletically, as far as I developed like better coordination, better stick handling, making better decisions a lot. Because a lot of times when I was younger, I would hog the ball. Now I like to feed. And then if I see no feed, or if I see that I do have a shot, then I'll take the shot. I won't just try to hog the ball, take the shot every time, and like act like I'm running the team,
Yeah.
because that's not how it works in high school anymore, or like that's not how it works in high school in general.
Yeah.
That happened in middle school.
Yeah.
But
It's a little different on the high school level. It's more of a team game.
yeah,
Like you said, you're playing against, bigger, stronger kids. Some like, you're not dealing with like you said, you're dealing with 6'5" defenders now. It's fun. And now I want to ask some questions just like outside of sports, to kind of like for the listeners to get to know you as well too, and besides like what you like to do outside of sports. But I also want to ask too, do you have any pregame rituals or anything, or superstitions before a game?
I always stretch before the game. I don't know if that's a ritual.
That's,
But I always have to stretch my hips out just because uh I feel like that's like the most important part a lot of times. In pretty much all 3 of my sports. Um and other than that, not really. I mean, at Hendricken, before a big game, like there's a lot of just like doing like people like dancing and screaming in your face in the locker room, but like that's yeah, not as much. Not really this year. We don't even have locker rooms this year, so
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a little different this year. Do you listen to any music or anything before a game, or do you just kind of
Yeah, I'll listen to lots of music. I could go from like as far as music, I'll listen to things like Grateful Dead, if you know that band, to like Kid Cudi, to something like Black Youngster or something.
Nice.
So I don't really like listen to a certain genre, but I like artists that are kind of versatile, like Kid Cudi. You can listen to something that's gonna like get you pumped up, or if you need to calm down, like if you had like a stressful day in school or something and the teachers got you mad, you can like find a song that will calm you down in the same album as a song that will like pump you up or make you sad or make you happy. So I like him a lot as far as that.
Kid Cudi. Now that you mentioned him, makes me want to like re-listen to him. I haven't listened to him in a while, so now that you brought him up, I was like, I should definitely like listen to Kid Cudi again, because I used to love his music when I like back in 2010, those days back in my younger days.
Yeah, I think that I have every song on his Spotify liked, I'm pretty sure.
Really? Do you have a favorite song by him?
Probably The Man on the Moon,
That's
that one. Like, well, I know the albums are named that, but the one in the original album, that is also named that,
yeah,
is my favorite song.
that's
But,
awesome. Yeah, that's a great song. Have you listened to Heart of a Lion?
yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite songs by him. I like that song a lot. What do you like to do, like overall, outside of all the sports that you do, if you have time? What do you like to do outside of sports?
Um, well, I used to like to do video games a lot, but now I have to do schoolwork a lot more and get regular sleep schedule. Um, So, and also my brother just like beats the heck out of me in them. So, it's not as fun just losing every single time I play.
Yeah.
But I I w- I play the trumpet. I haven't had much time to do that anymore. I'm in the arts academy for visual arts as well because I'm good at sculpting and um I also draw, but I'm mostly good at sculpting stuff. Um, I actually sculpted my cleat. I have a cleat and it looks exactly like other cleat. It's upstairs, but yeah. But I can play the trumpet. I was in honor band in middle school, but I'm not doing it with the school now. Now I just do it sometimes.
That's
But
great.
I have a pet bird and he doesn't like it that much when I do it. He starts screaming, so
Oh, really? That's not good. You don't want to give him a heart attack or anything like that. He doesn't
yeah.
like it.
Sometimes, yeah, some with birds, sometimes they just like super stressed and I don't want to keep doing something that's gonna make them scream.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You don't want to do that to the poor bird. That's cool though that you do arts and stuff like that. You're into sculpting and everything like that. That's really cool. And you like to draw. Is there like any time like of art that you like to like draw, or are you more into the sculpting side?
Um, well, I'll draw, I do a lot of pattern stuff, like where like if I draw like a character, like say I was to draw like this cashew man,
Yeah.
right? And I'd like fill the back, like I'd draw him by making like a pattern so that like it would kind of be like an optical illusion. I like doing stuff like that. Um, and then I did like doing like drawing animation, but I'm not as good at it because over quarantine I got like really into stuff like Naruto and all that type of stuff and Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Um,
I trust me, man. I used to watch all this stuff all the time. Naruto, I watched like growing up, and then it was like Dragon Ball Z was like the big one when I was.
I haven't watched that yet. I've been watching Tokyo Ghoul.
Christian, this has been great, man. It's been awesome to have you on the show. I really appreciate your time. You have any questions or anything, comments before we sign off from me or anything?
Where could I find this?
It's on all podcast platforms. So
Spotify.
and it's also on YouTube. So it's like on Apple, Spotify, like iHeartMedia, Amazon, all that stuff. It's on there. and it's also on YouTube too. So like the video of us will be on YouTube. So anyway, but yeah, this has been great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, man. Take it easy. Be safe. All right.
All right, you too.